The Guild Wars 2 Trinity in 2024 follows the concept of heal support, Boon DPS, and DPS to build a complete functioning squad. This is part 2 of a 3-part series breaking down the Trinity, and for those finding my channel for the first time, I highly recommend you watch part 1 of this series on heal supports, as I will be referencing some of what I mentioned in that video, and I assume that you understand how heal supports function in group content. The Boon support is the second most important part of forming a solid group. They are often used in conjunction with the healer to solve many problems in a group setting. While typically not as compressed as the heal support role, the Boon DPS is also subject to role compression, often sacrificing damage for higher utility when it is needed. And the ability to take on additional utility is what helps us determine what Boon support classes are the meta choices. This can be a more challenging function for commanders since all QDPS or ADPS classes are not equal. Like the heal supports, there are many different criteria by which Boon DPS are judged and selected for a given encounter when trying to optimize a squad. And yes, you can mostly get away with whatever you want. However, if you were Admiral General Aladdin and you had to handpick which classes you want to pair with each other, this is how you can come up with some really interesting and powerful squads. As an added bonus, Boon DPS classes can often complement each other, so when theory crafting for a 5-man group for fractal speed clears, dungeon runs, or groups that are running a solo healer, you can use multiple Boon DPS classes for a subgroup to cover the mechanics on a given boss. This is how you get no heal or low man runs on various encounters, especially with those with high DPS checks. To gauge the Boon DPS meta in 2024, we are going to be looking at a few different options. Much like heal supports, first separating the classes by quickness or alacrity, and then by condition damage versus power damage, and then finally on demand or situational boons. In this context, situational boons means needing a target to attack or some other special condition to be met. There are other metrics that can be used to decide what class fits best, like how much CC is available on a given build, or if there are support elements available. Some Boon DPS classes are essentially DPS classes with a minor trait change, while others are completely different from their full DPS counterpart. The most commonly picked Boon DPS classes for given roles are the QDPS Herald, Alacrity Mechanist, Alacrity Scourge, Alacrity Renegade, QDPS Scrapper, and Alacrity Spectre, with less common classes being Quickness Berserker, Quickness Firebrand, Alacrity Willbender, Quickness Harbinger, and Boon Chronomancer. Almost never played is the Untamed in both variants. There are only 2 meta Power Alacrity builds currently, and that is the Power Alacrity Willbender and Power Boon Chronomancer, which can be challenging when facing power preferred bosses if you're utilizing a quickness healer. As I stated earlier and in part 1, the heal support and Boon DPS roles are paired together in a yin and yang of sorts to help the builds function to their full potential. The most visible pairing of this concept is the Alacrity Heal Scourge and the Quickness DPS Herald. Herald provides almost every boon permanently, including protection, while the Alacrity Heal Scourge has insane amounts of barrier, revive potential, and free condition cleanses, which is something that the DPS Herald lacks. In a similar vein, the Heal Herald, when paired with an Alacrity Scourge, gets the same benefits. With healers that have low amounts of CC, like Tempest or Mechanist, a QDPS Scrapper can be paired with them to help round out their party. Since Mechanist and Tempest both utilize Relic of Caracosa, and the QDPS Scrapper uses combo fields in their rotation to generate boons, it ensures that the healer will have plenty of combo fields available to splash their healing. While the Heal Firebrand has enough utility for everyone, but it lacks a high healing output. A more supportive Boon DPS like an Alacrity Tempest, Alacrity Scourge, or Alacrity Spectre makes a good pairing with this healer. For healers like Druid, more DPS focused options become available. The QDPS Berserker or Quickness Harbinger make an excellent pairing. This pairing works because Druid has high healing, high CC, and can upkeep key boons on its own, allowing the Boon DPS to play as if it were a full DPS class. Many of these Boon supports are constrained by their core abilities regardless of their specialization. Thief has Basilisk Venom, Warrior has Battle Standard, Necromancer has Flesh Golem. All Guardian specializations have access to Aegis, stability, and high CC, while other classes are more reliant on specific specializations for their most powerful abilities. The Renegade comes with huge amounts of CC, boon strips, and high damage by virtue of playing with Kala and Malix on their condition Alacrity build. Tempest has Rebound and Water 3 Overload. Knowing what skills are required for a build to the function and how the Boon DPS role supplies its boons and what skills are optional can take a group from just okay to a GG easy level of skill with options that are already baked into the kit. As a commander, it is largely your job to piece these together, and if you're using LFG to fill your squads, you can be given a variety of pairings, but by simply swapping the subgroup of your quickness DPS or alacrity DPS may make your squad function a lot better. As a non-commander or casual gamer, many of these builds are valuable in the open world due to their ability to self-boon and boon others. Playing a quickness DPS berserker or quickness DPS scrapper or any alacrity build can make the game feel smoother, make open world metas more consistent, and give you an easier time altogether. So if you're not interested in gearing a heal spec that you may only play once or twice per week, you can gear a Boon DPS and play it casually in the open world while filling a critical role in group content. And that is pretty much all you need to know about the Boon DPS role. Like always, shout out to all my subscribers and people who choose to comment. If you like the video, please consider subscribing and checking out my community tab for polls that will help you decide what I release next. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.